Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of How It Should Have Went. Let me see, what did I call it? Yeah, How It Should Have Went. Basically where I look at certain scenes from animated shorts or episodes and, and perhaps even movies if I even want to do that, which I probably will down the line. But I look at certain scenes, episodes, what have you. And I talked about basically well, let me put it to you like this. I talked about one of them. You could probably see what it says in the title. I was going to talk about MLP, mostly in episodes from season 2 that everybody has talked about, everybody enjoys actually, and considers one of the best Spike episodes out there to date. Of course, I am talking about Secret of My Excess. Now, in case you guys don't know the background on this, basically, since the beginning of the show, a year prior, or a season prior, Lauren Faust had come up with this idea to use Spike as our perspective to see how beautiful Rarity was. And lo and behold, one thing led to another, and what became known as Sparity came into existence. Sparity, of course, being the short term for Spike and Rarity as an item, as a couple. Now, there's no doubt that in the first season, as far as I know, because I didn't really... Here's the background with me. I wasn't really sure about this whole new version of MLP, just like a lot of people. I didn't really start to find my respect for it, and then my fandom for it, and then eventually my broniness, if you will, becoming a brony and part of that community and all that, until several seasons later. When people were talking about it, people were saying you gotta check this show out, or you gotta check these characters out. You gotta do this and that. It wouldn't be until later on. And heck, even nowadays, still my family finds it just a little awkward that I'm into MLP when I'm a guy and I should be into guy stuff. You know what I'm saying? But each to their own. They do respect it though. They do understand, because I think since they've looked online, they've realized, hey, he's not the only one. And I think there's just something about the show that, like I said before in a video, makes you feel like this is a show you could have watched growing up back in your time frame. Whether it was the 80s or the 90s, or even the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s, that this was a show you could say, yeah, it wouldn't matter if it showed up in the 80s, if it showed up in the 90s, or wherever. It would have fit in. It would have fit in well and would have succeeded well. Pretty much, that's how a lot of fans would view MLP. And then, of course, it would come to characterization. It would come to the characterization of a lot of the main and supporting characters, and basically the distinguished characteristics and personalities and even designs and looks that made them stand out and become fan favorites. Spike and Rarity is no exception. Now, one thing that MLP analyst Silverquill pointed out in a video he did talking about Rarity was the fact that when he, along with the rest of us, probably saw her for the first time, we thought, oh no, here's another fashionista diva that we're going to have to deal with as part of this main group. And lo and behold, we were proven wrong when Lauren Faust, and then later on Megan McCarthy and many other writers after that, gave Rarity more depth, gave Rarity's character more depth than we ever thought it should have. Rarity became more. How do I put this? Rarity basically became more than just what's known, as I put it, eye candy of the show. She basically was given personality. She was given the total package, if you will, when it comes to, okay, a character may look this way and may act this way at times, but that's not who they really are. And lo and behold, whether it was nods to the fans, fan service later, nods to the fans, fan service thrown in later on, we would have moments in the series that we basically said, wow, we didn't think we'd get this from Rarity. One of the prime examples is Rarity Investigates. Another prime example after that is last season, where we get a scene, I can't think of the episode right now, of her rocking a freaking guitar. It's like, what the heck? Where did that come from? So, so with Rarity, it's like, when you would, like Silver Quill said, when we first see her, we think the obvious, but then, of course, we're proven wrong. And, again, getting back to this whole Sparity deal, like I said, from what I've learned and from what's been explained, Lauren Faust wanted to use Spike as our perspective, or wanted to use Spike to be our perspective to see how beautiful Rarity was, and the balls just went rolling from there, uphill, and the whole Sparity situation began. And the show, whether it was in the first season and throughout the second, we did see it in the second, and even beyond that, if the show hadn't teased us or showcased all these Sparity moments and acknowledgments and references, maybe Sparity, like I said, the nickname for Spike and Rarity as a couple, wouldn't be so supported as it is. As crazy as it sounds, I'm a longtime fan of Sonic SatAM and Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm a supporter and fan of Sonic and Sally, Son Sal, if you will. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sally Acorn as an item, because pretty much they were in the cartoon and in the comic when it was under Archie Comics' roof. So to see that, so to make that kind of comparison, in my opinion, not just with myself but by other fans' perspective, kind of shows you how popular this shipping is. And Secret of My Excess is a good example of that, because pretty much it basically, if it wasn't official by the end of season 1, if not slowly building to a crescendo in season 2, if it wasn't somewhat official or indicated that there was something there between the two, Secret of My Excess pretty much sealed the deal. And pretty much sealed the deal on Sparity being real. Even Voice of Reason pointed that out in a video. But when you look at Secret of My Excess, you ask yourself, okay, what scene could have gone differently? What scene out of a great episode, and now I'm not saying that a lot of people agree it was, but a majority of fans believe it was, what scene out of such a great episode needs to be fixed? Well, believe it or not, it's the beginning. Hear me out. We know Spike's birthday's coming up. We know it's Spike's birthday. We know Spike's birthday's coming up. Okay, it's pretty much indicated. Here's what I would have done differently. Spike comes down. I would have done... Now, here's the thing. I would have done the scene maybe a day before. Not the day that it happens, but a day before. I would have probably done it the night before. I would have Spike come down, whistling, doing whatever he did. Well, Twilight's trying to organize her books, like she likes to do. And Spike comes down the stairs. Twilight's wondering what he's so excited about, what the noise is that he's making. What that noise is that he's making. And Spike basically shows her what he has been saving and basically ripening up for his birthday, for his own personal birthday gift to himself, which is the Fire Ruby, which is the heart-shaped Fire Ruby. Now, here's how I would have gone with this. I would have had Twilight be impressed that Spike was able to resist eating such a gem like this for so long, and that and not only is she surprised that he's resisted on eating it for so long, but she's surprised that he's going to wait till his birthday. Spike then goes on to say that throughout today, or throughout that day, and then throughout the next day, which is, tomorrow, he'll say, and throughout tomorrow, that he plans to keep ripening it, shining it up and everything, so he can have it prepared for 2 days from now, or 2 days from then, which is his birthday. Now, this is what I would have done. I would have had Twilight be impressed by this, but then remind Spike that that's good and everything, but remember, but I have to remind you, or I have to let you know, Rarity is going to be coming over to study with, well, not study with her, but I would have had Twilight basically come out and tell Spike that, she's impressed that he's kept this, that he's raising this ruby, ripening it up so he can have it for his own personal birthday gift. But then I would have had Twilight tell Spike that he may not want to do it that he may want to do it upstairs, or basically he might want to do it, he may not want to do it downstairs. And Spike might ask, well, why not? And you could have Twilight say, well, tomorrow Rarity's coming over to look for a book on possible medieval designs that she could use in her fashion show, or use for future fashion designs, or whatever she was planning to do. Then you could have Spike realize, then this is where you capitalize on the whole Spike has, Spike's love for Rarity. Spike could look at the gem and say, once Twilight tells him, oh, Rarity's going to come over, you have Spike look at the gem, look at the ruby in his hands and go like, right then and there, start thinking, maybe this would be a better present for Rarity than for me. You have him start thinking along the lines of, you know what? If Rarity sees this, she will be impressed, but if I tell her I'm going to eat it, she'll be disappointed because it's such a beautiful gem. But perhaps if I give it to her out of friendship and out of how much I care about her, that'll probably be the best birthday gift I can get. Because you got to think about it this way. A lot of, Cellpex put it best when we saw the reaction video to Shadowplay, that Spike is the best friend. Spike is the very best friend. So, what better character development could you have for Spike than to have him literally say, you know what, the best birthday present I can give to myself is not to eat this ruby that I've saved, but to give it to someone I truly care about, to show them that their friendship means more to me than they can imagine. And then perhaps the birthday gift that he gets is probably better than he's ever thought, is of course the kiss on the cheek. And thus we go from there, and that's how you go into the next day. Because basically you go into the next day, you kind of play it up as it originally was, with the difference being that when Rarity shows up and says her line, she goes up to Twilight, asking what Spike is, thinking he usually helps her, and you could have Twilight say, oh, he's here, she's here, oh, he's here, he's taking care of something. And then you could have Spike show up, make it look like, you could have him show up with the ruby in hand. Have Rarity's reaction be the same as when she first saw it coming in to Twilight's home. When she came through the door in the original scene. You can have her, go through the impression, excitement of seeing how beautiful that is. You have Spike then play it up that, oh yeah, I've had this for a while. I've been ripening it up, and now I'm gonna, ripen it up and everything so I can eat it for my birthday. You could play it up. You could have Spike play it up, and then when you have Rarity be like, show her disappointment, then you have Spike go like, however, I've decided better of it. And then you have him do what we see in the original scene. In the original scene, you have him take her hoof, turn it upside down, place the ruby in there, and say, I've decided that the best birthday present I can give to myself is to let you have this ruby instead of me devouring it. And then you can basically have him turn around, be a little saddened but kind of proud of what he did, and then that's when he gets the kiss on the cheek from Rarity, and then basically says quietly to himself, this is the best birthday present I could ever get for myself. And you go from there. You go with the rest of the episode as it was from there, because then you basically reinforce the fact that Spike is showing that he truly cares about Rarity, to the point that when he's informed by Twilight that 2 days prior, or the day prior before Rarity shows up, that she's coming because she's going to look up some books, you kind of play on the character development of Spike being like, as much as I would like to have this ruby to myself, I think it'd be better fit for Rarity to have as my, Rarity to have, to show her how much I care about her as a friend and how much her friendship means to me. And like I say, you go from there, and then like I say, you play it out the way somewhat similar to the original run, but then you have Spike, like I say, play it up like he's going to do it, and then you tell him, however, and then you have him kind of switch it up and say, however, when he heard Rarity was coming, he thought better and realized the best birthday gift he can give to himself is to give the ruby to Rarity. And then of course you can go with Rarity giving him a kiss on the cheek, and then you can have him say the line that this is indeed the best birthday present I could have given myself. And the rest of the episode can go on as it was prior. So, but basically that's how I would have done it for Secret of My Excess of MLP FIM Season 2. Basically the opening scene with the whole Rarity Spike situation with the Fire Ruby. But let me know what you guys think. What do you think of my change up there? Do you agree it could have gone, that the episode would have been just as good, if not better, or worse? What do you guys think? What do you think of my little change there of how I would have done it? Let me know down below. Comment if you like, and I will talk to y'all later.